Hello, my loves. I'm Brittany Taylor, and in this video, I'm going to talk about what it means to have your natal moon in Taurus. So, what is the moon? What does the moon represent? The moon represents our inner self, our emotions, how we inwardly feel, our reactions, and also it has a lot to do with our early childhood and the messages that we picked up, okay? And it also, the sign and its qualities have a lot to do with what we need to feel emotionally fulfilled, okay? And for men, the moon can also show his inner image of the feminine and of his wife. So the moon in Taurus is an excellent position. I'm a firm believer that planets that are exalted and also in detriment or in fall or in rulership are very significant. And that's why I always mention this. So the moon in Taurus is exalted, which means it's actually the best position for the moon. The moon gets to really be expressed in its most highest way when we have the moon in Taurus. And so it's important for people with the moon in Taurus to know how emotionally blessed they are. And they might not feel like this at times because, maybe they've got the moon opposite to Pluto or something, or square to Saturn, or, some other aspect going on that can make it feel more emotionally difficult. But traditionally, this is a very good placement. This is a very strong placement. And these people are very emotionally blessed and secure more than most people. So, they actually have an inner stability that is very magnetizing and very solid. They actually can be quite successful in life because they're coming from this strongly grounded place. So we can actually see this with the moon in all of the fixed signs where they actually have a pretty strong inner foundation and knowing of who they are, no matter what the other planets are in their chart. There is it's like a stubbornness emotionally where they're not easily going to be led down a pathway without their own voice involved, right? So we see that with the moon in Taurus too, that they are quite inner directed. They don't easily just follow the crowd. They're not the one that's going to, just do something because everybody else is doing it. They're quite solid and they're quite stubborn, and they're not easily swayed away from their beliefs though. So that's one thing about this moon, is that they have very strong opinions and very strong beliefs about things, and because they're so loving openly, and they're quite warm actually, and this is because of Venus ruling Taurus. They actually have quite an inner warmth about them. But because of that natural kindness and warmth and lovingness, people may not actually even see how stubborn they actually are. So it might be in a relationship sense, like if you're actually in a relationship with people with moon and Taurus, or you're living with them in the day-to-day, you'll realize how stubborn they are. And that can be a good thing, right? Like, they're not going to let you lead them down a wrong pathway, right? But they can be not so open to change, and not so open to advice or counsel from another. And so because of that, they can kind of get stuck in a rut too. This is like probably out of any of the moon signs, maybe Scorpio too, where emotionally they do kind of just have the same reactions, and they don't necessarily change those a lot. I mean, we could have other things going on, like Uranus aspect to moon, where the emotional reactions are going to change periodically, and they're going to, be a little bit more unpredictable. But usually with this moon, it's pretty same feelings all the time. Like, it doesn't, maybe with Uranus conjunct their moon right now though, because Uranus is in Taurus, and depending on the degree of the person's moon, maybe they're going to have a big emotional shift here because of this once in a lifetime transit. So that's a possibility. But other than that, other than Uranus aspecting moon, they don't change a whole lot. And you can actually see this with any sun sign with Taurus Moon, how much they just really, over the course of a lifetime, do not change that much. They're just very solid, right? Anyway, we can also see this with Taurus Sun as well. Like, they kind of just stay the same their whole life. And maybe that's perfect, because maybe they actually are expressing themselves as they really are. And so they don't like need to change, right? But that's just something to be aware of, is that, you know, when you get stuck in these emotional patterns as a Taurus Moon person, it would take some kind of electric shock, like maybe Uranus in transit, or maybe in Synastry, to really get you out of your rut, right? So that's potentially maybe the only negative thing about this moon, is just that resistance to change and that inner stubbornness, which of course, every negative can also be a positive. That can also be a very, very good thing, right? So what else about these beautiful Venusian people? Oh my goodness, yeah. So because of Venus's rulership of Taurus, right? They live for love. So these people are very strongly relationship oriented, and specifically pleasure oriented as well. They are very sexual, and the moon doesn't always show sex drive, but I do feel that people with the moon in Taurus, even though it's just the moon, but because of Venus's rulership of the moon, they do tend to be quite sexual in a very physical way. Like, so this isn't like a mental sexuality, or like, you know, feeling sexual through the mental body. It's more of like a need to express themselves physically through sex in order to gain emotional stability. But that sex is going to have to be with someone very trusted, because the moon in Taurus, you know, it's not like an overly outgoing placement either. Like, they can be on the more shyer side. This isn't like a Gemini moon who can talk to anyone about anything. The moon in Taurus is more reserved, and actually they can be a little bit shy. Like, they want to know you like them first before they're going to express, you know, that interest. And we could have other things going on that would change this, though, like, you know, a really strong Mars or something. So that's not like something that's always true, but I just have seen they can be a little bit more, what's the word, reticent, or, you know, a little bit shyer in emotional relating as well. Like, they don't want to wear their heart on their sleeve unless they know like it's going to be reciprocated, right? So it's like almost like a more calculatedness in a certain way, emotionally, just because they have such a strong need for security. Like, it's like they want to know that you're going to be someone of value, you're going to be someone important to them before they're going to just, you know, totally emotionally open up to you. But when they do, this is a very solid, very loyal, like if you have a moon in Taurus friend, like friends for life, if you're in a relationship with someone with moon in Taurus, they can be very loyal, they can be very committed, and they don't like change very much. So, you know, once you have them, you better get used to them always being around, because they love that. They love the solidity of a relationship that's, you know, physical sex on the regular, and enjoying meals together, dinner together. These people can also be very good cooks. I've seen this in women, actually. I'm trying to specifically think of men that I know with this placement, and whether I know if they're cooks or not. But Taurus, it does tend to favor like the traditional wife energy of homemaking and, you know, cooking and cleaning, and naturally being a really good mother is very nurturing and very, you know, like if you're at a moon and Taurus woman's house, you know, she's gonna feed you, she's gonna put that cozy blanket on you and like make sure you're all cozy, and like make sure your tummy's full, and like, you know, if you've got a fever, she's gonna make sure you've got the cloth on your head, and you like, they are very nurturing in that sense when they care about you, and when they feel safe with you. That is one of their gifts, is that their soothing emotional energy. It can be very nurturing and very calming, and like my best friend, one of my best friends, has a moon in Taurus, and she's really good at cooking and everything like that, but she also is very thoughtful, and she's always gets me the most perfect and unique gifts. And so the other thing about Taurus, it's very physical, it's very material, so they can show love through gift giving or like cooking or things like that, right? And they're just like, yeah, like friends for life. Once you have won their affection, friends for life. And yeah, they can be very good gift givers. They can be very focused on like physicality, though, like physical expression, physical beauty. These are the kind of things that are going to be emotionally soothing for Taurus Moon. So they need, physical activity, physical sex, a focus on physical appearance. They're going to want to look their best and feel their best in their physical body in order to feel emotionally secure. Also, being out in nature, that's going to be really soothing for them as an Earth Moon. And also, well, like everything I've already said, but especially having a love relationship that is solid. They're not going to be comfortable with a partner who is erratic or, all over the place. They want to know that someone is solid and like they're going to be there on time and be there when they say they're going to be there and do what they say they're going to do, right? And so the type of woman that a man with Taurus Moon is going to be attracted to is someone who exemplifies that Taurian, patience, kindness, lovingness, physical beauty, physical sensuality in a way that is enjoyable to him. Like that's going to be really important for him. And also that she's just, she's rock solid. She's not going anywhere. Like they don't mind if a woman is a little bit more clingy, right? Because they need that. They want to have that closeness and be together all the time. Now, if we have Moon aspecting Uranus, could be a different story. But usually these people want someone who is solid, text at the same time every day, the same kind of texting. Don't say good morning, beautiful one day and then say morning the next day, and that's like giving a mixed message, be on time. No, that's maybe an exaggeration, but that's part of their emotional need is for someone who is solid, right? And not sending them mixed messages. They want to know like you're really there for them, and then they will give you the world once they open up to you, and they can be very soothing. They can be very giving, very, the women very feminine, and having this kind of really loving gentleness about them. They're not going to be overly aggressive unless we have Mars placement really stronger in fire or something, but they're more of like they call all the goodness of the world to them through their attractive power rather than being overly like assertive and grabbing it, right? It could be different depending on Mars, but usually they're more of an attractive personality rather than a pursuing personality. And they also can be very artistically gifted because of Venus's rulership of Taurus. They can be very musical, very like good at aesthetically like creating a pleasing environment visually, or that's something really important to them also, is like pleasure to all of the senses. That is like what they need and also what they embody. So yeah, trying to think of anything else. They could be a little bit jealous or territorial over the partner, like because of Taurus's emotional need for ownership. That's something that I've noticed, that they're not like the most like chill people ever when it comes to a relationship. They can be a little bit more on the controlling or possessive side because of that Taurus, second house flavor of relating that is a little bit more, grabby, right? Taurus is like, I want to hold on to you and never let you go, right? People with Taurus emphasis can be like that, especially Moon, because Moon is emotion. So they can tend to hold on to people really tight. But if the person is wanting to be there, that's not really a problem, because it actually can feel very loving and like you're very wanted. They don't hold back in that. You know, they can make people feel really appreciated and loved and wanted. So, um, yeah, I think that's all I'll say here. Like, beautiful placement if you have this. It is a gift. I really feel like it's a good karma accredited in other lifetimes to have the moon in Taurus, because you just get to be more rock solid than many people. You get to have this like inner security that like is your foundation. And you know, the childhood, you know, maybe there was something very normal about it in some cases, right? Depending on the aspects though, but there's something like you've grown up with this inner solidness and some, you know, actually good messages from childhood, which is very beneficial. So really good placement for the moon. Emotionally, you're pretty solid, and the only couple negative things really would be that possessiveness and maybe a resistance to change, but otherwise just beautifully loving people, physically beautiful and charming and attractive, and truly kind-hearted, open-hearted. Yeah, just good placement, you guys. I love all the placements, but Moon and Taurus, you know, because of its exaltation, it's favorable, and I like to see it in the chart. So I'd love to know your experiences of this placement, or you know, being with people with this placement. I love to read your comments on how you've personally felt it, you know, living with it or living with someone with it. I'd love to know. And yeah, I do offer one-on-one sessions. I offer a personal natal chart session, and I also offer a synastry session, a relationship chart session. So my links are below, and I'll be back soon. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.